Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hello and welcome to second year of On Deck, brought to you by Coast to Coast Network. I am the host, Big B. I am joined by my guys, my coach, Coach D. How's it going?
Okay, here in Texas, we're doing well.
All right.
Baseball is back, baby.
Yes, it is. And then next to him, we got the big dog, Greg. He's going to be the opening day starter for this lovely crew. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. I just got my dog out for a walk. It's a beautiful day. The Trailblazers, they're not going to make the playoffs this year, but they're consistently scoring over 100 every night, and so we're getting free chicken nuggets left and right over here at McDonald's. So,
all right,
Average. Luka Doncic.
And then above him, the big guys, Syrup Crispy Bacon. How you doing, bud?
Doing good. Glad baseball is back, and it's going to be a good 2022 season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one heck of a season for a lot of teams. I think some teams are going to be finding themselves in the doghouse really quick. But with that being said, we'll go around. We'll give an update on our team and what we expect opening week here. So, Dirk, I will start with you because I know DeGrom's going to be missing some weeks already. So, you brought the head out of the grave. So, Dirk, go ahead and talk about your Mets.
I am going to freaking scream. Every year since 2015, injuries, and then more injuries. DeGrom, he's got a strain on his right scapula. That's your shoulder blade. So they shut him down for a month, and then they're going to reevaluate at that time. At this point in his career, and really it was last year, the year before he got a little hurt, but he was fine. Last year he just kept getting things, and then he missed the last half of the year. I don't know if anybody thinks this, but if all you guys remember back in the middle 90s, Cy Young Award winner John Smoltz went to the bullpen at about 32 years old, mainly because of some arm issues. And he won the Cy Young in the bullpen. He was great. I know he came back and was a starter after like 4 or 5 years, but I wonder if maybe that's what DeGrom could do, because he is literally unhittable the way he's been pitching the last 2 years. But he's max effort. He's 6'4", 180, and everything is max effort. And that's the way it is with a lot of pitchers nowadays. We'll talk about it more because I got a long tangent I want to go on about max effort and your arms and stuff. But, okay, so Mets signed Max Scherzer to a big $40 million a year deal. He's 37, but I think he's good. He had a right hamstring tweak last week, but he's saying he's good to go, okay, and everything. I think the Mets, they do look to be pretty good. Let me look at the roster. They did make some nice offseason moves. One, they picked up Chris Bassett from Oakland. Pretty good pitcher. Okay, little under the radar than most, but he's a good pitcher. He's 33. They got Carlos Carrasco, who didn't pitch for them except for 2 games last year from the Lindor trade. But he's a bull. He looks like he's good and ready to go. They still got Edwin Diaz, and he's 28 in the bullpen, part of the stupid Robinson Cano trade. And he was okay last year. And he seemed to have a bounce back year. So he's probably good to go. And then they got returners, Seth Lugo, very good reliever, Trevor May, Tyler McGill, kind of a young guy that's good. They got Adam Vado from the Red Sox. Good veteran pitcher. Let's see who else. David Peterson. He's really young. He pitched well in spots last year. And they made some other trades and things. Tawan Walker pitched a little today. He wasn't that good, but he left with some knee soreness. Jesus, Christmas. And of course, Jacob DeGrom and Trevor Williams, another reliever. The pitching for the Mets, they're all good, and they got prospects in the minors. So they, barring injury, I'm going to strike that word out of the dictionary. I swear to freaking God. Greg, I'm from New York too, as well. So it comes out sometimes. Catching, they got James McCann, really solid catcher, good defensively. Thomas Nito, younger guy, catching, but he's coming on in recent years. He started to hit a little bit, so he might be good. Of course, first base, we got the big bear, polar bear, Pete. And then, Christ. Every time I say that, the next word out of my mouth is going to be Robinson Cano. Okay? 39 freaking years old. He hit good in spring training. Okay, whatever. They did pick up Eduardo Escobar. Familiar name there, Big B?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Looks like a good, solid defensive player. 20-plus home runs, good player, and third base. And they still have Luis Guillorme, the Beard, who was doing it all at third base last year. So got Francisco Lindor, Jeff McNeil. He's going to play infield and some outfield. Dominic Smith playing left field and some first base. Greg went black. And let's see. And we see in the outfield, we got a pickup, Mark Canha. Veteran, got a little pop, plays good defense. J.D. Davis is going to also play outfield for them. Good hitter. It's his issue, much like Jeff McNeil has been trying to find a solid position to put him in. But he can play multiple infield and outfield positions. So good, bad. Mets picked up Sterling Marte, really good outfielder, led the league in stolen bases last year, 47 bags. And of course, Brandon Nimmo, he was hurt a lot last year, but he looks good now. He's in shape, So
Okay.
that's mostly the regular lineup going in. The Mets really, they have a good minor league system now. They're probably on the top half. They got some players down there that are really good, and they're going to push some of these guys. So I'm looking at the Mets, barring injury, right around the 90 win mark, fighting it out with the stupid Braves.
All righty. So, yeah, we'll get into a lot of those predictions here shortly. So, Greg, you're a St. Louis Cardinal fan. So we got 2 NL and 2 AL representatives on the show now. So that's kind of cool. So,
Cardinals,
Greg, what are you expecting now, opening week for your Cardinals there?
I think it's going to be a pretty interesting season for my Cardinals because they got a lot going on for them. They got a lot of good things going on. I think that their infield is rock solid. They had a really top third base prospect before they picked up Arenado, and I believe they're going to bring him up and move him to second base. So a kid by the last name of Gorman, I believe, and he's a hard-hitting former third baseman. He's going to make that transition. I don't know how well of a transition it's going to be, but they got Arenado locked in over there. Mm-hmm. So I think that with Goldschmidt at first, and then they picked up Pujols to do a lot of the DH work this year, and I think
I like that.
His last hurrah. Mm-hmm. Then Arenado at third. You're going to have very good defensive hot corners there, and then how Gorman does in is pretty much rookie campaign second. DeYoung is still pretty hard hitting shortstop. So, and then we got Yachty still behind the plate. Even though he's probably not too far from retirement, but he still has one of the best arms.
Well, he said this is his last year.
Yeah, so we got a couple of guys that are on the edge of retirement, but we're looking pretty solid on the infield, and of course defensively in the outfield, we're pretty solid. I'm just kind of concerned. Lost a few good pitchers, and right is still our go-to starter, but I think he's only got a year left or so. Too. So this is kind of a make or break year for my Cardinals, but I think that it's going to be a pretty good year. I think that we're going to be right there. We'll do predictions later, but I think that it's going to be a pretty good start, and I'm kind of glad to see Pujols wanting to retire as a Cardinal. I don't know what we're going to get out of him, but I think that if he's pretty much a DH kind of guy, I can see him still getting 15 to 20 home runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Pujols definitely going back to where he all started is definitely a great move for the Cardinals there. So, Chris, in my eyes, the winners of the free agency market, they went out and spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
They're your Texas Rangers, Chris. So what do you got going with them?
Oh man, they got some good, some good players in free agency. Kind of started when the initial free agency started back in December before all the lockout stuff happened. But Corey Seager's one of the names. Marcus Simeon's another. John Gray, who was with Toronto, he's going to be the open, or let me make sure I've got that right. No, Colorado. You got him over the free agency, and he's going to be the opening day starter. We just got a lot of good players, and I think this is probably, going to be an improved team heading into the season.
A lot of good young players.
Yeah.
Young.
No, I think the Rangers did it right. Got some youth with some experience. They made a trade with the Twins. Got, a good catcher over there. So,
Brendan, you're going to love IKF. You're going to love him.
He is. He's really good.
280 hitter. Plays.
No, he got traded to he went to the Yankees after we traded for him.
Ooh.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
we traded him over. So anyway,
why are the Yankees trying to rebuild through the Rangers?
I don't know.
They got Gallo.
But for my Twins, they're going to start with the rookie for the first time opening day since 90 or 64, I think it was.
Wow.
They're going to go young Joe Ryan, who, I was impressed with the few starts he had, but to go to opening day, I mean, Maeda's hurt, so it was kind of up in the air. But the offense, I think, is going to be just fine. Buxton, as long as he stays healthy, should be okay. Sano, if he gets on track. They surprised, I think, everybody in signing Correa, which is a win-win situation for them, because if he does good, he might stick around. If he does good, I mean, and we're stinking it up, be good trade bait. Most likely he'll be gone at the end of the year, so hopefully, maybe if we do good, he sticks around. But but I don't think the Twins are going to finish higher than third right now. I'm not impressed with the rotation right now, even though the guys that are going to start look pretty decent in spring training. But again, it's the MLB mixed with the minor league, so I think the Twins' first month of the season is going to be crucial for them.
Who's the good pitcher? They also signed a good pitcher. I can't.
They signed Archer. They traded for Gray.
That's right, Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray. So if they can come over and produce like they have been, then
they're good.
Archer, I think a couple of years ago was a stud. So, but we'll see what happens with that. A few moves that maybe kind of surprise people. Freeman goes to the Dodgers. So, Greg, what do you think about that move? Freeman going to the Dodgers.
I think it's unfortunate when you got a guy like Freddie Freeman, who's pretty much been the face of the franchise over there in Atlanta for 10+ seasons.
Yep.
You know, I know that Freddie Freeman grew up in California, and it's pretty much a kind of a hometown move, you know, to go back home and finish up his career. But you're just talking about a league right now that's basically the haves and the have-nots, and the Dodgers pretty much have a lot of money to pretty much load up every year, make a playoff run. You know, they haven't shown too many World Series titles, you know, for all their efforts and all their spending. But I just would have loved to see Freddie Freeman finish up in Atlanta. You don't see very many Tony Gwynns, very many, you know, Cal Ripken Jr.'s, those kind of guys that spend their career in one uniform, you know, in one city. So I would have thought that, you know, from anybody in today's game, it would have been nice to see Freddie Freeman be a lifetime Brave, you know, after everything that he's given to that city and everything. You know, he's given his heart and soul and everything, and it's just sad to see him move on. I think that it was a good move overall for the Braves, because I think that they got a little bit better defensively, and you know, Matt Olson's no slouch at first base. I just wish that you know, for the sake of that division, it would have been nice to see Freddie Freeman in the lineup for the long term. But unfortunately, they just
I don't mind him leaving.
Yeah. I know
the Mets.
You know, he was a great first baseman and a great presence for many years over there in Atlanta. And sometimes it just comes down to, you know, 1 or 2 years on the contract. You know, a player might want a 6-year deal, and management might only want to lock in for 4 or 5. You know, and sometimes the money and the years don't match up on both ends. And I think that's just kind of what happened on this deal.
Yeah, and then they went out and gave Olson the 8-year deal. So, you know, that kind of threw everybody for a curveball. Dirk, what do you think? What do you think? I mean, you said you're happy.
I was very surprised that he left. Everything. It seems like he's the nicest guy in the world. Like he'll be walking his kids, and he'll play with another kid down the street. He talks to people. I've seen a lot of, you know, TikTok videos, and he just nice guy, good ball player, great hitter. He just stays healthy. That's all. He's going to walk right into the Hall of Fame. You know, he's one of the best hitters. One thing I think, because he's got young kids, you know, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, maybe, you know, he wanted to bring them back to California. The weather's a little nicer than in Atlanta, like 100 million degrees cooler, you know. And he's rich enough they can send his kids to good schools and live in nice neighborhoods. Maybe he just wanted to bring his kids home. Maybe he has more family. He seems to be a very family orientated guy, you know, and I think that's the reason. You know, it wasn't money. You know, people are going to say that it wasn't money. I think it was a logistical thing. It would have been cool for him to stay with Atlanta. Maybe they win a couple of more World Series with him. But like y'all said, they picked up Olson, so they really don't drop off at first base a whole lot, you know. So
yeah, I think the numbers between Olson and Freeman are pretty close.
Yeah, and Olson's a hometown boy too, so he's from Atlanta. So that helps him out.
Freeman.
So Chris, what do you think of Freeman? I mean, I know we've talked quite a bit already. So Freeman to LA, what do you think?
I mean, there's some people that think that, you know, you felt like he was going to stay, but I kind of felt like he was going to go somewhere. But, you know, from my understanding, both the Dodgers and Braves had the same offer, but he chose, you know, to go to LA.
Yeah, no, I think. I mean, I'm shocked he didn't run it back with the Braves, but again, we don't know what the ownership was thinking. We don't know what, you know, Freeman was thinking, bringing his family back home to LA. I mean, a lot of things play a factor, but good luck to him and the Dodgers to a point. I mean, hopefully he stays healthy. Um, some more names I want to throw out there. Trevor Story. He signs a 6-year deal with Boston Red Sox. So I know one of our viewers, Chrissy Wilson, she's happy. But Dirk, what do you think of that move? Story going to Boston.
It was very much rumored he was coming to Texas because he's from here. He played high school just up the street, more near Chris than me. But there was big rumors him coming here, and I think the Rangers were actually talking with him, and Boston at the same time, and he decided Boston. So he's a good fit, really good hitter, good defensive. I think in Boston he's going to play third and second. Shortstop's his natural position, but you're not going to move Bogarts out of there. No. But third and second, Boston's just reloading their guns now. They're back to where they were 2 years ago. Last year they struggled, made a run, got it together, but they discovered they have some good players. Verdugo. They still got Chris Sale as their stud pitcher. They're solid, and that just helps them out. Now they have guys that are going to come off the bench that would be starters on other teams. And that's always a good thing. Boston's going to be very good this year, okay? Which I like because I hate the damn Yankees, okay?
We all do.
And,
so, Chris, what do you? Oh,
no, go ahead.
So, Chris, what do you think of Trevor Story going to Boston?
I mean, good for Boston. They got a good player, and I guess anywhere but the Yankees.
Yeah. No, he was also rumored to come here to Minnesota too.
Yeah.
Which was shocking to me, and then we signed Correa, which really shocked me. So, Greg, what about you? Story going to Boston.
I heard a lot of different rumors too. I heard, before Minnesota locked in on Correa that they were looking at him, and I even heard that the Yankees were maybe kind of floating things out there to see maybe what kind of deal they could lock him into and stuff. So he was kind of like the last big thing that Colorado had. I think they're in a complete rebuild mode. I mean, I know they picked up Chris Bryant, but they had a good thing going. They had in Colorado, they had a good team they had some good players to maybe build something with Arenado, and then they released him and pretty much paid part of his salary. So the St. Louis Cardinals got a pretty good deal on that, getting part of his salary covered. So I think that Boston knew that they had to do something because the Yankees have been spending a ton of money, especially last trade deadline. They went and picked up Gallo and some other big bats and everything. So I think that the Red Sox felt like they needed to make a push because they know that things are going to be tight in their division with Toronto and all their young stud players that they have coming up, and then they need to keep up with the Yankees as far as their hitting lineup and everything. So I think that it was a move that Boston felt that they needed to make, but I think that Coach D's right. They're going to be a very, very good, solid, dangerous team next year. Nobody really expected them to do a whole lot last year, and they made a good run into the playoffs. And everything gelled. So I think that a player like Trevor Story, maybe putting him in more of a winning culture, and playing for a franchise that's committed to putting a great product out there, I think that he's going to put up some monster numbers, and I think that you're going to see a lot of good baseball out of the Red Sox.
Yeah, no doubt. They stay healthy, and I mean, I know a lot of people are going to question Story's numbers if he doesn't put up similar numbers that he did in Colorado. So,
and remember,
speaking of Colorado,
the Red and as far as they did last year, and they had very limited service out of Chris Sale too.
Yep. Chris Sale's going to be. Speaking of the Rockies, a shocking move. I think Greg, you kind of alluded to Chris Bryant going to the Rockies, I think, kind of threw a curveball to me. I figured he was going to go to Philly, maybe back with the Cubs, maybe New York. I know there's talk there. So, Chris, what about you? What do you think? Chris Bryant going to the Rockies?
Kind of the same thing of Story a little bit. I mean, good pickup for them, and hope he plays well.
Yeah, it could be some trade bait because we know the Rockies are rebuilding, so they could be, just using them for trade bait. So, Greg, what do you think about? I mean, you kind of alluded already. Bryant going to the Rockies.
I don't really understand what the Rockies are doing because they unloaded
Nobody
Aaron
does.
Otto, last season. They just got rid of Story. Then they had a guy that pretty much wanted to sit out the last couple of years due to COVID and everything, who was like their third best player. And who knows if he's going to try to make a comeback or not. But I really don't know what they're doing over there in Colorado because, they're investing a lot of money into Bryant. And, I mean, he has a good bat and everything, and he can play outfield. He can play third, and he still has some decent pop. But he's also starting to age a little bit. So I don't really know what Colorado is trying to put out there. They're not completely doing the Oakland A's and having a fire sale and getting rid of every single decent person.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they're trying to invest around Chris Bryant and not really do much else. So it's kind of a baffling move to me why they would invest in Chris Bryant and be on the hook for that much money. And then, he may be gone at the middle of the season if a team needs a big bat. I could see like the Yankees or the Red Sox or somebody trying to snag him up, if they're trying to make a good run.
Yeah. Dirk, how about you? Bryant to the Rockies.
Yeah, it's the two biggest deals that just confused me, and I don't know why, was Carlos Correa going to the Twins for only 3 years. That's only a 3-year deal. Is it a 1-year deal with the option?
It's a 3-year deal in a sense, but it's a 1-year deal because he's got 2 player options after each of the next 2 seasons.
And that's what they do. So he's just got to hope to have a good season and land somewhere. Chris Bryant, man, I really wanted him to stay in San Francisco because he fit right in, and he's a good player. San Francisco's a good baseball team.
Oh, yeah.
Colorado, it's probably not going to hurt his batting average. Greg said he's like 32, 33. He's getting there, but he's not injury prone. So he might be one of these guys that can play really well to their 37, 38 years old. He hasn't had injuries. Good player, good clubhouse guy. Maybe he just didn't like living in the Bay Area. I don't know. I thought that would have been the best place for him to stay. The Rangers talked to him a little bit. Everybody did. The Yankees' name is always in everybody.
Oh,
I think they may not even talk to them, but the reporters do that.
Yeah.
But the Yankees will throw. It's like the Dodgers. They throw out the money, and it's like the Mets now because they got the richest owner in baseball, and he's an actual Mets fan. But I don't know why. I really can't figure it out. I thought he was in a good spot in San Francisco. He was on a team that had the best record in baseball last year. And of course, once you get in the playoffs, things happen. They didn't go quietly in the night, though. They played well. And to me, last year they were the best team in baseball as far as team, everything. And they're going to be right there again this year. So I don't know what Chris Bryant is thinking. It is kind of funny because you mentioned the Cubs. The Cubs talked to Rizzo to bring him back.
Yep.
And I know the Cubs talked to Bryant. What do you traded all these guys? You had a fire sale. Then you want them back? You had them. Cheap
exactly.
Too. But
exactly.
it is what it is. And, we'll see what happens, Maybe he makes Colorado a 500 ball club. You know,
Maybe. Chris, how about you, Bryant to the Rockies?
I was kind of surprised with that move. I didn't know where he was going to go, or if he was going to stay. But it sounds like he should have stayed in San Francisco.
Yeah. Speaking of another former Cub, Baez, was with the Mets, and now he's, signed with Detroit. They're looking good. Dirk, what do you think about that? Baez, I mean, you got to watch him with the Mets, so what do
I
you
was
think
so
about him going to
excited
Detroit?
when the Mets picked him up, but he's such a loose cannon. You know, the freaking thumbs down thing to the fans, that
Yeah.
threw
I
a
forgot about
lot
that.
of New Yorkers off, and he talked Lindor into doing it. Lindor since has apologized, so I think he'll stay in favor. And he hit well with the Mets. He hit like 260 and he had like 12 home runs in the second half. He's an awesome defender, and you've seen multiple times he just knows the game, where he'll do a play like nobody ever thought of that, and he'll get an extra base. Like last year, the one where he made the Pittsburgh first baseman chase him all the way back almost to home plate. Right.
The biggest brain.
Oh my God. And he ended up on third freaking base, and it was like, Jesus, you could have asked 1,000 major leaguers, would you do that? And they would say, it wouldn't occur to me at that. I know it's legal. It would never occur to me. It occurs ahead. That's what I like about him. I just don't like his knuckleheadedness. So he'll do good in Detroit. They're assembling something up there. So, I'm sure, he's making a lot of money,
Oh, yeah. So, Greg, what about you? What do you think of Baez going to Detroit?
I thought it was kind of a weird kind of move at first, but actually I like it. And when you're talking about the AL Central, I think that's probably the scrappiest division in all of Major League Baseball. You got teams that might not always be the most talented, but the Royals are always playing hustle baseball, laying everything out every night. Detroit, they started making some moves last year and started playing some decent baseball. The White Sox, have some really good pitching and play some really good baseball. So I think it's going to be a very scrappy, competitive division. And I like how they picked up Javi Baez. I think that he has a good, I think his baseball IQ is pretty good. He can really handle the bat really well. He's really excellent on defense. Like Coach D said, he makes some questionable moves sometimes when it comes to the fans and kind of maybe turning some people off with some of his antics. But I think it was a good move. I mean, Detroit, I think, is going to be one of those teams that's going to turn it around. And it's good to see finally a team from Detroit professionally do something. You got some up-and-comers. You got Hunter Green, great prospect. You got Spencer Torkelson, who's probably going to be coming up early in the season. So they're going to have some good pop. The only thing really detrimental right now going on in Detroit is the absolute massive contract that they're still paying on Miggy Cabrera, and his numbers have definitely faded the last couple of years. I think that if they were able to get out from under that or maybe restructure that and free up some money, I think that it would help them go a lot longer, as far as being competitive. But I do like them picking up Javi Baez and making some moves. I think that Detroit, I don't think they're going to make a big time run this year for a World Series or anything, but I think that they're going to be competitive, very competitive in the next few years.
Yeah. Well, the one thing Baez going there kind of shocked me, but like Greg and Coach D's already said, they got something building there, and the class act I got to say is Cabrera giving that top prospect, I can't think of his name, the first baseman. He gave him his glove and told him that first base is his. So
oh wow,
it sounds like Cabrera is going to be the main DH, possibly coming off the bench. So,
and I love
Chris, how about
year too?
Chris, how about you? Baez going to the Tigers. I almost said Lions.
Lions.
You're on mute, bud.
He'd probably be good on the Lions.
Sorry about that.
All right, Chris.
I,
Baez to the.
no, he's really good, but I just wonder if that thumbs down, was kind of the last straw, so to speak.
Oh, we'll
Was
see.
in New
He's
York.
young. He'll learn from it. So,
Yeah.
and then the last couple guys we'll touch on. Probably seals up the middle of the infield for the Rangers there. Simeon and Seager. Seager got the big payday at 10 years, and Simeon comes in at 7 years. So, Chris, I'll let you start talking about your new middle infield there. So, what do you think is going to happen with those guys?
Hey, we need a new players in that position, anyways, and they look like they're going to be good for the team, and hopefully they have the Rangers improve a little bit, and we'll just see how it goes from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a nice little signing there. And I know Dirk brought up possibly, Chris Bryant was going to sign there. Could you have seen those top three guys signing there? I mean, their average
I
salary
wish.
is 32, 25, and 26 million. I mean, between those three guys, almost getting.
Rangers can pay it because they got one of the. You take out them salaries, they had one of the lowest payrolls, so they had a lot of room.
Yeah.
So, Dirk, what do you think of that move, Seager and Simeon shoring up that infield for a while?
It's great for the Rangers. These guys are on the north side of 30, but barely. They're very good. Seager may be 28 or 29. But
Seager is going to probably be they list him at 27, so he's probably going to be 28 within the season.
Yeah, because they gave him the 10-year one.
Yeah, he got the 10-year deal.
And, of course, he is a Seager, so he's really good.
Yep.
Just a little above average defensively, not the greatest, but he's solid, and but he's a good aggressive player, runs the bases, he's got pop, hits for a good average, a good attitude. Last year, he did get injured a couple times, and that's because of his play, because he plays so hard, And Simeon, great guy. He can play short, second, third. The Rangers have Nathaniel Lowe at first base. Pretty good defensive guy. He hit 20-some bombs last year, hit 260. He's solid there. The Rangers picked up Mitch Garvin from you guys.
Yep.
And
I was shocked.
He's got a weird career. He had 1 year, 2 years ago, where he hit 31 home runs, but he didn't play a lot the last 2 years. I don't know if it's injuries. I know they were doing the righty-lefty thing with him. Seems like a solid catcher, so he's going to be the main guy. He's going to play all the time. So if he can approach the 30 home runs, hit the 260, be solid defense, that's a good addition. In the outfield, the Rangers center field, Adolis Garcia, rookie of the year, 30 bombs, came out of nowhere. He's old.
Yep.
He's 28, but he is really good, and they got they got Ibanez, who can play infield and outfield. He just got to hit a little better, and he's shown signs of that because he's like 22. He's really young. And Eli White in the outfield, and I forget who else they got out there. But they've got a good young – the Rangers, should play 500 ball this year.
Okay.
They're not going to suck. They're not going to lose 85 to 90 games. They're going to be on that around 80 win mark, and it all depends on the pitching.
All right.
They got some decent pitchers. If the pitchers do well, they're going to go. It's like it always is with the Rangers. They're going to go as far as the pitching take. Yeah. I think they could win 85 games and even compete for a wild card. What pitching's got to fall in line.
Okay.
Yep.
I got you. I hear you, Greg. What about you, Seager and Simeon locking up the Rangers middle infield for a while?
Well, it's definitely going to be a middle infield that's going to have a lot of pop. I think that it was a solid move. I hated to see Simeon move on from the A's a little over a year ago, but I thought that it was a great move. You got decent Simeon is really good, with the bat, and he's got a good glove. Seager, maybe not quite as good with the glove as Simeon, but I think that you're going to see some good pop in the lineup, and I think that the Rangers made a lot of good moves. I think that they really have a great middle infield for years to come. So so when you got a good double play combination, and you got two guys that can play the middle infield with some pop, because as we've seen in years past, in years past, we didn't see a lot of huge numbers as far as home runs and doubles and stuff from second base and shortstop. So I think that you're going to see a lot of good production with the bat from these guys.
No,
But
I definitely agree.
I think that the Rangers, one thing that they didn't do is they didn't address a lot of their pitching needs, but they did go out and get some good bats. So that should keep them in a lot of games.
I think they kind of did like old school style where you built it right from the catcher to right up the middle. You got solid up right up the middle. So their defense should be good, offense should be good. And Dirk Garver, he missed quite a bit of time because let's just say he got hit on a pass ball or a deflected ball in between the legs there. So he was
okay.
very serious.
Testicular contortion.
Yeah, very, very bad. So so that's why he's missed quite a bit. But yeah, I was kind of shocked the Twins moved him. But yeah, no, Seager and Simeon. I remember when both those guys signed. I think it was days apart. I'm texting Chris. I'm like, in the chat. I'm like, Chris, what the heck is going on? Your Rangers are, and then we had the lockout. Nothing happened. So. But I think that you guys should be fun watch. It should be fun to watch Rangers baseball. So.
Another thing about the Rangers, about their young guys, they got Jack Leiter, number 2 pick. Okay, he looks every bit as advertised, and they also got from a couple of years ago, Texas Tech Red Raider Josh Young. Okay, spelled Jun. They were expecting him to possibly compete for third base this year. He had shoulder surgery, so he's not going to be back till July. But he looks like the real deal. Solid hitter, great defense. They got some guys down there. So if they don't do anything dumb, their arrow is up. Okay, that's what I'll say. A lot of people around here are negative because they want instant results, and it takes time in baseball.
But that's with any team in Dallas. I mean,
even the Cowboys. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm a Cowboys fan. Always been. Grew up in New York, a Cowboys fan, and I swear to God, the Cowboy fans here in Dallas drive me up a freaking wall. Jerry Jones sucks. McCarthy sucks. Dak sucks. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we got about 20 minutes. Might go a little bit over quick. Let's run through our division. Opening day is a couple days away. So on April 5th here, let's go with our early predictions on each division, how they're going to rank out. Chris, I'll start with you. The AL East. How do you think that division is going to finish up with the Rays, Blue Jays, Sox, Yankees, Orioles?
Or the teams one more time.
Who the Rays?
AL East.
Here. Yeah, AL East. How do you think that's going to rank out?
I guess.
I'll let you ponder it, Chris.
Yeah.
I'll let you ponder it. Coach D. How do you think that's going to rank out for the AL East?
The easiest thing is Baltimore in last.
Okay, Baltimore's in last. All right.
Between Toronto, Tampa Bay, Yankees, and Red Sox, geez, they could all finish within 2 games of each other. They really could. I'm going to say, oh God, I hate this. I'm going to
say it, Dirk.
Yankees get first. Boston second, and it could be a wild card between them and Christ, I freaking Toronto.
But
I don't know.
remember,
Yankees barely in first,
Okay.
and there could be 2 wild cards from the East because it can happen.
Okay.
So Boston, Toronto, and Tampa Bay.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, maybe Toronto is the 4th place team if they do anything. Tampa Bay 3rd, Boston 2nd, like that. So Yankees,
All right.
Boston.
I like that.
hold on.
You know,
They changed the playoff format. It's 2 teams.
yes,
Yeah.
it is 2.
Yeah.
That's what I say. That's why I said they could
So
have.
he's saying that there's possibly
wild
going to be
cards.
both wild card teams are going to come out of the East, is what they're saying.
The wild card will be Boston and either Tampa Bay or Toronto.
Okay. I like that.
I think Boston's going to get it. You know, Boston could make a run at first. You know, just they're a little more dependent on their pitching, but they still got good pitching. You know, it's just that Yankees are the stupid freaking Yankees. You know,
All right, Greg.
You know, so that's my shot. That's a tough division to pick.
That is tough.
Really.
That is tough. So, Greg, how about you? Where do you think the AL East is going to lie?
You know, I think that, like Coach D said, I think that the Orioles are going to still finish dead last. They're still waiting for Adley Rutschman and a few of their other draft picks to break into the bigs. So they really don't have a whole lot to work with, you know, with the bats or with their pitching. So I think that they're going to be the only team in the division actually to not finish 500. I'm going to put Toronto. I think Toronto is going to sneak in there and get it. I think that they've made some good moves. I know that losing Simeon hurt, but with George Springer and all the former players' kids, Vlad Jr., Bichette, Biggio, they got plenty of pop, and they play some pretty scrappy balls. So they're fast and they play some really good baseball. So I'm going to sneak them in there, and then I think that it's going to be pretty much a 3-way tie for a second. I think you're going to see the Red Sox and then the Yankees, and then I think that Tampa Bay is going to have a drop off. I still think that they're going to play above 500 ball, but I think that
also to add to Toronto, they're actually going to play 30 miles away in their own stadium this year.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, how about you?
All right. So you got Boston and New York 1 and 2.
All right, so you're going Boston and the Yankees. All right.
3 is going to be the Rays.
Okay.
Then you got Blue Jays and then the Orioles.
All right. So we're all consensus. Orioles are going to finish last. I think that was the easiest pick. I had to wrote down, and I changed at the last minute here. I had it Rays, Jays, Red Sox, Yankees. Then I changed it. I was like, you know, after listening to Dirk, but I can't put the Blue Jays up there. I'm gonna or Yankees up there. I'm gonna go Blue Jays, Red Sox, Yankees, and then I'm gonna go the Rays. I think any way we got it, I can't disagree with any way, and I think we all 4. Nope, me and Greg have the Jays winning it. So, but anyways, that could go. All right, Greg. Let's go with the Central. How do you got the Central working out?
I think that the Indians are probably going to, or the Guardians are going to be probably in last place this year.
Okay, so you're going Guardians. Okay,
and I think that in first place, I still think that the White Sox, with their pitching, and they still have some good depth in their lineup. I think that they're still gonna. I think they're gonna take it. And then, man, I think it's going to be pretty tough. I think that you're going to see some scrappy ball from Kansas City and Detroit. I think that Detroit, I think it's going to be probably second. It's going to be Detroit, and then Minnesota, then Kansas City, and then Cleveland.
All right, Dirk, how about you? How do you see the Central?
Well, White Sox in first. They got the pitching. They got some players. Kansas City might make a run, but they're still pretty young, but they're good. My thing is, I think White Sox, Kansas City, followed closely by Detroit, And then the Indians, I'm not going to call them the freaking Guardians. That's a roller derby team. But the Guardians and the Twins will battle it out for last, but I think the Twins will finish are well ahead of them. I don't think the Twins they're going to be like a 75 win team.
Okay.
The Guardians could be like a 60 win team, man, it's just like 5 years ago they were so loaded, with talent and everything, and it just went away and they haven't finished it. So that's my prediction there.
All right, so I got the White Sox, followed by the Tigers. Twins, I think, unless their pitching comes around, I think third is going to be the highest they're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go with the Royals and the Guardians. It's weird saying the Guardians. So is Dirk. I want to be with the Indians, but yeah. So
do you guys know what the Guardians came from?
You said a roller derby team?
Well, that's a name of a roller. But that's not really what it is, because one of the radio guys here in Dallas is from Cleveland. So the bridge that goes across the river near the stadium, it has little statues that are called Guardians, and they have that, superhero thing on it. It's been there.
Gotcha.
He didn't even know it till he called his mom, and she said, "Oh, honey, that's been here for 100 years."
Wow.
And evidently it's a famous thing in the bridge. So I'm like, because I wanted them to be the Cleveland Spiders, but they know a little bit of the history. I'm like, okay, not everybody knows that, but okay, I can see the tie-in now. It's just their symbol looks too superhero-ish.
Yeah, it does. So, Chris, what do we got for you for the Central?
So we're gonna go the Tigers first.
Oh, going to go on a limb there. All right, Tigers.
White Sox.
All right.
Twins.
Okay.
Guardians and Royals.
All right.
The Orioles are in the East.
He said Guardian and the Royals.
He said Royals.
Yeah.
Chris wants the Orioles to play 264 games.
All right, so we'll try to make these last few four divisions quick. Chris, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
Since you are the AL West representative here, where do you got your division lying out?
Houston first. Hate to say that.
All right, going with the Astros. All right.
We're gonna go Angels second.
Angels number 2. All right.
Rangers 3.
Rangers 3. All right.
Seattle 4th.
The Mariners 4th. Oh, where is Sarge when you need him? And they go on the A's last, huh?
Yep.
All right, Greg, how about you? What do you got for the Wild Wild West?
I think that this is actually going to be one of the most competitive divisions in baseball. I think that all four teams at the top are going to be at least a little bit over 500. The only team that's really not probably going to do much is the A's, that decided that they wanted to be a AA level team this year. And so I got the A's finishing in last. They pretty much have sold everybody. But I got Houston. I think that their pitching depth is what's going to put them at the top again this year, especially getting Verlander back.
All right.
And then I've got, let's see, I think I'm going to go with Seattle actually in second. I think that Seattle's making some good moves and is much improved. And then I've got Texas in third. And let's see. And who am I missing?
Angels and the A's.
Oh, yeah. I think that the Angels and then the A's. I think the Angels are going to win about 82 to 85 games this year, but I think that it's just going to be another wasted year for Mike Trout. I think that they're making some moves, but they just haven't made enough yet to get them over the hump.
All right, Greg, what do you got?
Or me?
or Dirk, I'm sorry, Dirk, yeah.
All right. And like Greg said, this is going to be a pretty tight fought division. I think the Astros in first, but they're going to be in first with about 90 wins. Okay. And then Angels. Now Angels have Mike Trout, and now they've got Thor. I am so
Yep.
Mets. He signed for the days same deal that the Mets could have gave him, but okay. And so I think the Angels in second, followed closely. Let's give the Rangers third, but real close with Seattle and then Oakland. So Astros, Angels, Rangers, Seattle, Oakland, and Oakland's dropped off. The other four teams are really, because I don't think the Astros are going to win a ton of games. The other teams, they could be 85 win teams. You know, the Mariners and the Rangers, they could be 85. So they could be really close to that. Because remember last year, Seattle surprised a lot of people. They played well deep into the season. So they've got something going there. You know,
except for Sarge Tim Fielder, he said the Mariners are going to make a playoff run, so he was awfully close. So
Yeah, he was close last year.
Yeah.
I got the A's. We all got the A's finishing last. Greg said it the best. This is probably going to be the best division to watch if you're not a fan of any of the teams. I'm going with the surprise. I'm going Rangers are going to win it. I'm going to go the Mariners number 2, and
Chris,
then Astros and
that?
Angels.
Can you mark
that?
that?
Yeah.
So, all right, Dirk, let's go with your division, AL East.
All right. So I kind of agree with SI said today. I was looking at it. The Braves in first, okay?
Sure.
But a lot of these teams are going to win a lot of games too. The Mets in second, followed closely by the Phillies.
Okay.
And I swear to God, like when Schwarber was on the Nationals last year, right? He freaking killed the Mets.
Yep.
He absolutely torched the Mets. Then he went to Boston and he did great. Well, he didn't sign back with Boston. He signed with freaking Philadelphia.
Yep.
So come on. Get this guy out of my division, right? So it's going to be the wild cards are going to be, let's put Mets second, Philly third, Nationals. Yeah, they're kind of a lost cause. So then let's put the Marlins and then the Nationals. But the Marlins, they always do this. They're a lot like the A's, but they're a year further along in their throw away the stars and bring up the young talent. They're a little further along than the A's. So they may tickle that wild card spot, you know.
Okay.
Nationals in last, third. So this should be a good division as well to watch because there's 3 teams that can finish in first, solid, and one other that can be a wild card team.
All right, Greg, how about you? AL East.
I'd love to put the Mets in first, but I think that right now that the Braves, the defending champs, I think that their starting pitching rotation is just a lot more developed than what the other teams have going on. So if they're healthy and they just picked up Matt Olson, so they didn't really lose much as far as getting rid of Freddie Freeman and a healthy Acuna coming back. You know, the last few championships is kind of crazy that the teams have been won championships without their best players. You know, the Nationals got rid of Bryce Harper, then won a World Series. You know, Acuna got hurt, and the Braves still won a World Series. So, pitching has gone a long ways. You know, in the postseason. So I'm going to go with the Braves. Then I think the Mets are going to be a close second. And then I think the Phillies are going to be right on their heels. You know, they've made some good moves and definitely have a lot of pop in their lineup. That's for sure. Pitching isn't quite par, you know, with the Braves or anything. Third. And then I think that the Marlins are going to be in fourth. And then I think that the Nationals are going to be in last. But I think that the Nationals are going to play competitive ball all year long, though.
Yeah, I do too. Chris, how about you? What do you got?
Yeah, we're gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna go with the Braves in first, Mets in second.
Yep. Mets in second. All right.
Philly in third,
Okay.
Washington 4th, and Marlins in 5th.
All right. Chris was copying off of mine because that's exactly the way I got it.
Yeah.
Braves, Mets, Phillies. I think all three of those teams, I think, could win it. Mets stay healthy, get their ground back. I think it's really going to
Keyword
be the
healthy.
key. Yep, exactly. All right, let's move on quickly to the AL Central. Greg, we'll start with you because this is your division with the Cardinals. So what do you got?
The NL Central, I'm going to stick with my Cardinals. I think that even though we don't have an extremely a lot of depth on our pitching staff, I think that we've got tons of bats, which is something that we've been needing for quite some time. So I think that my Cards are going to be in first. I definitely think that the Pirates are still going to be last. I think that the Brewers are going to be probably a close second. Let's see. I think the Cubs are probably going to be right down there, kind of last. And then who'd I miss on that one?
Reds.
Yeah. Well, actually, let's put the Reds. Actually, the Reds are kind of having a fire sale too. So let's put the Reds at second to last.
All right, so the Reds will be fourth and the Pirates will be last. All right.
Yeah, the Reds are one of those disappointing teams. They always seem to get something going, and then they decide to sell off their big stars for.
Yep, exactly.
For
Dirk,
nothing.
how about you? AL Central.
Okay, well, I'll get it over with quick. Cubs and Pirates, 4th and 5th. Flip-flop it, okay? Brewers, they're really good, but they have issues sometimes. Just because I respect the organization so much, and they have 18 world championships, I'm going to say Cardinals first. Pujols coming back, that may inject something into the locker room. They got great hitting, good defense. It's their pitching, okay? But I think their hitting and defense can overcome a lot. Let me put Brewers second and Cincinnati third.
Oh, wow.
Like you said, Cincinnati is a funny team. They've got talent, and stuff, but they're just you got Votto and you got Castellanos, and some good players. I don't know about their pitching. That's their issue, I think Milwaukee is a good, solid team. They play good ball, but, what's his face had a bad year last year. The outfielder from the Marlins. I got to get my name. I got to get baseball mode again.
Yeah, exactly.
Freddie Freeman, how I wish that he would have been a Brave forever. Joey
Yeah.
Votto is actually a guy that I wish that the Reds would be willing to move on from because they're absolutely doing nothing for the guy.
Yeah.
They're not building
All right.
for him.
Joey.
All right, Chris,
Votto.
how about you? AL Central.
All right, for the AL Central, we have let's go Chicago Cubs first,
Ooh.
Brewers second,
Okay.
Cardinals third,
Okay.
Brewers fourth, and Reds fifth.
Pirates, you mean fourth?
Yeah.
Pirates
Chris.
fourth, the Reds fifth. All right.
Okay.
Chris,
So I got the
what are you
Brewers.
drinking?
All right.
I got the Brewers, Cardinals, Cubs, Pirates, Reds. But I mean, I think we could agree the Pirates and Reds, they're probably going to flip flop back and forth. The top of that, Cardinals, Brewers, I think are going to put on a great show. All right, Greg. Let's start with you for the AL West, the division that had 200-game winners last year.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting division because you had a lot of underachievement and a lot of overachievement last year. So I'd love to put the Giants. I'm not a Giants fan, but I'd love to put the Giants ahead of the Dodgers. But I think that the Dodgers just really committed too much to this season. It's pretty much all or nothing. So I think that the Dodgers are going to be number one. I think that their lineup is just way too potent from the top down. And if they can get Trevor Bauer back in the pitching rotation, I think going to be hard to stop on all levels. And then I got San Francisco, and then the Padres, and then of course it's going to be a toss-up for who wants last place. I mean, I think that the Rockies might have enough pop in the lineup after adding Bryant to stay out of the bottom, but I think that it's going to be the Rockies and then the Diamondbacks. I think the Diamondbacks are still quite a ways away from putting anything decent on the field.
All right. Derek, how about you? What do you got?
Well, it's really a 3-team division. The Diamondbacks and Rockies are so far behind the other teams. They're both in last. They're going to tie for last place. There we go. Okay. Now the Padres came up last year. They just didn't know how to handle it, right? They tried doing things. Oh, we're LA's rival. We're that, and I'm like, oh, no, calm down. Their rival is the Giants, okay? But they want to be. But they got Tata, boom. And they got a lot of good young players. So Los Angeles, they've got the experience. They got the veterans. They got quality. They signed Kershaw back for another year. I would like to see him come back healthy because he's only 34. He just had a couple of weird minor injury years. So hopefully he doesn't have a funky pitching motion. It's just something that happened. And but between the Dodgers, the Pirates, and the Padres and the Giants, I went and saw the Giants last year. I loved that team. I went to see them live. What a team. Every guy coming off the bench, has got 12, 15 home runs, plays good defense, Chris Bryant's gone, but I know they got guys on the bench that can do that. They get the same quality pitching. Now they did lose Buster Posey, okay, because he retired. So that's big. That could be a big factor. So I'm going to say Dodgers first, Giants second, and the Padres a game behind the Giants. I think them 3 teams all year are going to just rotate through the first, second, third. I think they're all going to stay within 5 games of each other. The winner will win 100 games because Diamondbacks and Rockies are so bad. They're just going to feast on them.
Yeah, exactly.
But
all right, Chris, how about you for the last division, AL West or NL West? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so in the West, we're gonna go with Giants first.
Okay.
Padres second.
Okay.
Dodgers third.
Okay.
Diamondbacks fourth, and Rockies fifth.
All right, Chris. I thought you're going to be cheating off my. I thought you're cheating off my sheet again, because I got the Giants, Padres, Dodgers, and like Dirk said, they're going to battle all year long. So I'm not going to be upset if any one of those teams finish first.
All 3 of them teams could really be in the playoffs.
Yeah, Rockies and Diamondbacks. Like Dirk also said, they could tie for last of all I care, but I got the Rockies and then the Diamondbacks. So that's our predictions. So we'll check them at mid-season, maybe throughout the year, and then we'll definitely see who did the best at the end of the year. So with that being said, this is we'll go around the room. We'll start with Greg. Give us about 30 seconds farewell here.
All right. Well, of course, it's really good to see baseball getting back up and going again and everything. And I don't know about you guys, but I think the one thing that we can always look forward to is the San Diego Padres are probably going to have a meltdown about 3/4 of the way through the season.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, we got a guy that Callan, one of our other co-hosts for another show. He is a big Padre fan, so he knows all about the meltdown. So
Yeah.
So all right, Dirk, how about you?
Okay. Yep. Like all you guys, I'm glad baseball is back. Excuse me. I'm so tired of money in sports. The freaking millionaires and the billionaires put that aside, and they actually worked to come.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of them for doing that. So in 5 years, we're going to do it all over again.
Yep, exactly.
I hope
But
not.
I'm glad to see baseball is back. A little
Yep.
shortened spring training. Everybody's talking about the pitchers. Then just throw them out there for 50 pitchers.
Yeah.
Work. It's a lot to do because you guys know, Greg. You don't know. I coach baseball for high school kids, and I've been doing it for 23 years. So I see arm issues and stuff. Maybe next week we'll talk about how the increased velocity and everything is affecting pitchers and stuff. And I also want to talk about launch angle theories and things like that with the bat.
Right.
But I'm glad to see baseball's back. I got opening day tickets for the first time in my life.
All right, good for you.
Nice.
So we'll get a
hardly ever
Being
broke 90.
retired. It's Rangers home opener tickets.
All
Friday,
right, so we'll hopefully
Friday,
talk
right?
about that. So,
Yeah.
Syrup Crispy Bacon, how about you? Last 30 seconds here.
It's great to have baseball. It's going to be a good season, and hopefully, the season goes really well.
Yep, I'm glad baseball's back. Opening day, a couple of days. They're already talking. Twins are pushing their game back because of the weather, possibly some snow here. But, anyways, baseball's back. The grass looks green. Check us out next week. We'll break down first week of action. We'll give our predictions on MVP in both leagues and Cy Young. And then, we'll talk about launch angles and all that, mumbo jumbo stuff. So, for myself, Big B, Syrup Crispy Bacon, Coach D, and the big dog Greg, check us all next week on Deck.